What's good? What's good? It's your guy, Travelmatic, back to you with another great live stream. And I have my co-host right here, Miss Tiffany Sports and Heels. What's good? What's good, Tiff?
What's good? What's good? Welcome back to the States.
I know. You see where I was at? You look at that background.
I see. Beautiful.
Yes, I was.
Beautiful.
That was like that's my fake work from working remotely picture right there. I'm gonna use that on
Oh,
all my
okay.
my
On your
publications and
platforms.
stuff on my platforms. Yeah, I think that'll be pretty dope. Cartagena,
Yeah.
Colombia. Had a good time.
So,
So yes, hopefully we have a special guest that hopefully will come. Drees TV. Been chatting up with him for a while about working remotely, how to get into remote jobs, how to transfer your skills. If you just, you're working in the warehouse, you work in the call center, if you ain't even working, what do you need in order to land that remote job, where
yeah.
you can work in the States, if you can work remotely and, in Colombia, you know,
Yeah.
you can do it. You can do it. So hopefully we can get him on soon. If not, maybe another time. But we're gonna go through some sites. I'm gonna share like all of my tips, what it took, um, things you need to probably do to your resume. I know you got some things too, Tiff. Some
Yep.
tips. Um, but actually, what tips do you have? Let's start off with you.
Well, I think the first thing to do is kind of figure out, especially if you're not going into tech, if you're wanting to do a transition that kind of aligns with what you're already doing, you got to have an honest conversation about what your skills are. What are you capable of doing? What do you have the ability to do? Um, and start looking at some of the roles, either on Indeed or LinkedIn, or some other job posting format, and kind of look at what might fit. What you're already doing or something that you're interested in doing. I think that's the first thing that you do. For me, I came from nonprofit, so I was working in the nonprofit sector, just doing some administrative type work. Which when it comes to administrative tasks, you can pretty much translate that into any industry. They always are going to need people who have the ability to build reports in Excel or build PowerPoints for presentations. And so it's just taking those skills and seeing where I could be the most useful and make the most money. Let's be honest, because the goal is to make, a salary that allows you to have the kind of comfort of the life you're trying to build for yourself, which, when we're talking about remote work, we're trying to build a different life for ourselves. So I would start there. And then the second thing I'd start with are reach out to your network. One of the most valuable things that I did when I was navigating my career was reaching out to people who worked in different areas. And one of those areas was tech, and kind of figuring out, what people did, what kind of roles were available, doing a little research, going on YouTube, and looking and see what people are doing in those roles, especially administrative type roles. I mean, Google is your friend. We can Google anything these days. So you can actually put in that you are an administrative assistant at a law firm. Maybe you want to take that into a different way or a different kind of career. So you can look at remote administrative assistant jobs and kind of get an idea of what kind of skills you're going to have and what you already have, to begin to kind of build out a format or a template of how you need to format your resume, and update your resume to kind of mimic what the role you're seeking is going to need. And then my third tip is educate yourself. If you see that there's gaps and things that you don't understand, and listen, a lot of these companies are not expecting you to know every single, you know, application that they use, but they want you to have the general knowledge. And YouTube University, Corsica, look out and look at those as assets to you, educating yourself on some of the skills you might need to transfer into a different career or just a remote career in particular. So whether that's taking an Excel class, maybe that's learning how to do PowerPoint. Maybe that's taking a SharePoint class. Microsoft has a lot of products. So maybe going through a couple of courses on the weekends to get just some knowledge base that you can add to your resume so that you have those skills that stand out that you know are going to be needed in a remote basis. That's the top 3 things that I would suggest you do when you're looking at changing careers or looking for a serious remote position.
Man, Tiff, you was prepared today for this live, man. You got like
I'm trying to give people what they want.
Top 3, like dang.
Well, I'm thinking when I was looking to switch careers, there was like, what do I need to do? And people kind of overwhelm me with all of these different things. And I actually have, my oldest daughter is actually trying to switch careers and actually get into tech. So we've been working on some of the things that she needs to work on, as well as I modified her resume to kind of give her an idea of how she'll need to cater her resume to each applicant, each application, so that she can stand out and, kind of break in. And some of the things that were successful for me and other people that I've talked to in this career.
Yeah, that's those are some very key points with the resume, because I think ideally it's the skill. Because like with me, I was at Sprint, right? I was on the phones, like in the sweatshop call center, just thank you for calling Sprint, blah 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 blah. Your phone damage, call such and such, doing all that stuff bad. Making, I think I was making $15 an hour. I started making $15 an hour. That was like in 2006. Yeah, 2006. And I know I wanted to change, but it's so funny. I think I told you too that, well, I mean, a lot like with you too, it kind of like fell into that, you know what I'm saying? Like, got my guy, Fresh here. What's good, Fresh? We kind of fell into it, and because we're in IT, it actually just keeps where IT is going to be the remote. They're trying to change this, put us back in the office.
Yeah.
But there are roles coming out now, and which we kind of talked about that. Like it's almost like a game of chicken. Like they wanted to bring us back, but then the second wave of Omicron is like, oh, y'all stay home again. Like, man, we ain't coming back in.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, we've not been in this pandemic a few months. At this point, we're going on years.
Right.
So we've adapted and we've learned that productivity doesn't decrease based upon your work location.
Right.
And those who enjoy it have the ability to maximize their ability to do it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know I wanted to go through on this live, just like how do you just go and find it, and then it's almost like you got to mash or blend your skill set and the said job, right?
Yeah.
So, but I had people to kind of help me along the way, from people who were in IT, but I had to kind of find my way. That's why I wanted to create this live stream environment of remote working, because it like I went through a long way, and it really was like a shorter way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I went like here in Georgia, they have the little WIA program. They pay for you to go back. When I got laid off from Sprint, they pay for you because you're unemployed, like $5,000 to go to like little side schools or something like that, little trade schools. And they had project management as what they had project management, they had engineering, developer, nursing, plumbing, HVAC, all that stuff. And so I did that class. It helped me, but it didn't really help me to get, like, how do I apply all the stuff I've learned in this little 3-4 months.
Yeah.
But what did I get? So but at that time data was big. So I started to learn Excel by default because I had to just learn it. I wasn't really the best Excel person. So if I have anybody who wants to actually actually we may have our special guest coming up in a minute here. Let me finish my thought. When you have somebody asking you, how do you get in IT? I usually say start with Excel, start with Microsoft, start with PowerPoint, all the Microsoft Office products, because you're going to use them in some form or fashion. And next here we have my guy, DreesTV, that created his own website, neededjob.com. What's going on, my guy?
No much, just getting in and get myself together, and just really need to really get into it with people that are in the field, so I could make my own way. So brother need a little help starting out. Guess I could say I got cold feet to start. But for the most part, I like to say hello to everybody that's here in the comment section, as well as the beautiful lady that's up here on my over here in this area, Miss Tiffany. How you doing today, man?
How you doing, Dries? Good to meet you. Nice to meet you. Welcome aboard.
Well, thank you. I'm finally happy to have met you too.
Dries, I was telling Tiffany that you had a channel on YouTube. We met through the travel community, the Black man's travel community, and you embraced me in your community, 35 and up, which the Dries don't know. I've been paying attention to Dries, mainly because I like New Orleans dudes. New Orleans cats have been some of my coolest guys I've met here in Atlanta. My barber for like 20 years was from New Orleans. My guy Vance, and so I've always been a fan of the culture. The Bayou Classic, we used to go every weekend when I was in college, and just get drunk off of hand grenades. And we was off of was it Lafayette? Doubletree, I think is off Lafayette or something like that. One of them hotels that had a happy hour where we just drunk bottom shelf liquor all day and just got drunk. So New Orleans always got a place in my heart.
Yeah, so, you got spots out here.
Go ahead, Tiff.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I've been traveling to New Orleans since college, and I don't have a friend from New Orleans, but I have a friend from Lafayette, Louisiana. Big Saints fan and all of that. So I have a lot of affection. I feel towards Louisiana and New Orleans. I've always had a great time in that state of Louisiana. No complaints from me.
Hey, it's New Orleans. Right about now, that's about all you can do out here. Just have a good time. Leave your words at home, and go to Bourbon. Go to Tropical Isle, get your hand grenade, and go chill on the river.
Yeah, man, you be posting them pictures of that food, that fried catfish and all that stuff, man.
Can't go wrong, yeah.
Yeah. So tell people about your channel. Put your link in the your Instagram, your YouTube. He has a great YouTube channel. Been traveling a good bit, um, and I've been, around the same place he's been going. Um, so tell us about your channel.
Well, the main channel is DreesTV. That's just strictly uh live streams as well as particular videos, and then there is another channel which is called Boots on Ground, where it's user subscriber submitted content, and pretty much what I do on that channel is just showcase neighborhoods, hotels, places to stay, so that way brother comes on, shows you his hotel room, and then he walks outside and shows you the immediate area, so you don't have to question nobody about what it looked like to stay in Laurel is. You don't have to question anybody about what it's like to stay in the north zone of Tijuana. You have video preference reference right here. So that's what Boots on Ground is all about. It's pretty much all about showing different neighborhoods, showing your hotels, as well as excursions.
Okay. Yeah, I just subscribed to your Boots on Ground one.
So
That's a
did
great
I.
little
I did too.
idea
Thank
there
you.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I know when you questioned me, you said, hey man, I want to come on, I want to come on the show and talk remote. And I know I've been paying, like I said, I've been paying attention. I knew you have goals of moving out of the country.
Yes.
And with moving out the country, you need money, either
Right.
saved
Mhm.
or coming in. It just don't work no other way unless
Right.
you're trying to do it the illegal way. But you're a good brother, so I know you're trying to do it the right way. And
Right.
so I know you saw what I was doing, and you said, "Hey man, I want to come on." If you, and I'm like, "Dude, you can come on anytime you want to. We can make it happen." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's why I made this environment, especially for like the brothers in the travel game, just black people in general. Um, Let me take a minute. The super chat, my guy Calvin, the photographer for my wonderful background picture here. I appreciate you, my brother. Yes, sir. Um, so I made this environment because this remote working, regardless if it's in IT or not, like you save so much money and time, not commuting in the traffic, not buying a whole wardrobe for clothes. I haven't bought clothes. I had to buy clothes for my last trip because it was just like I'd be at the house, you know.
Right.
I'm not going down to the calf spending $10 on a salad because I go to the refrigerator, and make my
Right.
own salad or whatever. And so it's not like how I got into IT, which I always say it don't have to be IT, but I know this lady named Yolanda, who I think to this day tapped me on the back and said, "Hey, you ever thought about getting into IT?" And I said, no, like being a project manager. And I said, well, no. And I didn't even know what a project manager was. I didn't know what they do or what. Like manage projects. Like, yeah, but it's on a different level. And she told me how much they made. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, she said because it's not a lot of brothers in this field. And I was
Right.
just like, okay. She's like, yeah, it's hardly a very small amount of brothers in this field. She's like, I think you got the knowledge and I can show you, X, Y, and Z to do. And then, and she really didn't have to do much for me because I always had to drive, but I just didn't have the direction. She showed me the direction. I
Yeah.
was like, okay,
Right.
that's how I go. I'm gonna go that way. And it's been successful ever
Right.
since. So with this show, I'm trying to do the same, but I always tell people I'm gonna give you a shot or I'm gonna tell you what you need to do, but you got to put the work in though. Like
Yeah.
I had to get it from the mud. Like these IT people, managers, hiring managers, they're not the days of taking you and putting you in a training class,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
it's over with.
Yeah.
They expect you to come on,
Yeah.
learn in a week and know it. With most of these jobs, most jobs ain't training you no more. You got the experience or not. So
yeah, there's no onboarding. You know, you used to go in and you had 2 weeks of orientation, and then there. I mean, the first day you set up your computer, that's usually the easiest day of your time, because after that they really expect you to hit the ground running and become an immediate difference maker. And if you've put in that work, honestly, you already have that kind of mentality anyway, where you're ready to hit the ground running. Um, and you know what to ask, you know how to set boundaries as far as what you're capable of. And you know your capabilities. You know how fast of a learner you are. You know what kind of learner you are. Um, you know if you're more one-on-one. You know if you're more hands-on. You know if you're more, you need video references. You are absolutely um, capable of understanding what kind of learner you are and how you can translate that into learning that you need to know in order to make an immediate impact. My number one thing is always this, and I hate to use this because it shows how capitalistic our society is, but it is what it is. And companies are looking for you to be an asset. They're looking for you to add value to them. And so that's the kind of mentality, is what am I doing to add, and what can I do to add to this role? And so listening becomes extremely important. Hearing what they say they need, and then being able to facilitate that, whether you directly doing that, fulfilling that need, or working with other people in your teams or across teams to provide that need for them. So I mean, if you
right,
have that drive, like Adrian talked about, those kind of things will come natural for you. And so the transition, while it will be challenging, you will realize you should have done it a long time ago, honestly.
right. So Dries, what are you doing now?
Indeed.
Like, your background, like we said, we both are in IT. I'm like what you call a project manager or something like that. She is also the same. But for yourself, what are you doing so we can kind of assess where you at, and have you looked for remote jobs in the past? Like, what's been your experience with that?
Nah, I'm completely just starting this from the ground up. I mean, I don't even want to say that I have any kind of experience in anything, because I just like I need to learn this all over again. Because
Mhm.
when I get out there, it's not like I could, I could lose a job and then I could be like, hey, go holler and go and talk to my brother. Wherever I'm gonna be at, it's gonna be me. So whatever I need to learn, I need to learn it all over from the ground up. Everything.
Okay.
From
Right.
entry level,
Okay.
starting there and moving up. So
Okay. And like I said, like there doesn't have to be an IT. Every IT is not for everybody. Um,
right,
but
But
I
there's a lot
know
of
your
opportunity
path
there.
and where you're trying to go. You trying to live in Brazil, and I just was asking. I don't know if you saw um, what Tiffany was saying before, heard what she was saying before we got on, but I asked her, like, how much would you need to live monthly? And I always joke on myself, because a few of the travel brothers be like, oh man, travel man to be cheap on the dog, he be staying in hostels and staying in like and I'm like, I'm not here to do the gram and all that stuff. As long as it's comfortable, it's clean, an Airbnb for
right,
like $30, $40 or whatever, I'm good. I don't have to spend $100, a night in Rio or whatever, or Sao Paulo. You can
yeah.
get
I
really
would
nice
never do
stuff,
that.
you know. So these roles, if you're not IT, you can get a smaller role, or smaller getting, let's say, sales support, like what I was doing. Now I was sales support and I was making around $18 to $20 an hour. Now I know some people in Medellin, some people in like other places that are doing. I think of the guy. Mm, he in Medellin. What's the old cat in Medellin? You know I'm talking about, Drees. He got a channel.
Colton.
Carlton. Yeah, Carlton was saying when he got he do a little job. It's like $10 an hour. you know, and then help them out because Medellin ain't that expensive, you know. So you can get a support role.
Yep.
You know, like Tiffany had a job that she was looking at, a little contract, and it was paying what, $25 an hour.
Well, it wasn't a contract. It was actually a direct hire. So I'm on a contract. So a contract, but this was the actual a hire. And
what were
what
you
you
doing
did is you were
what were you supposed to be
providing,
doing?
yeah, you were providing remote support, 100% remote. They supplied all of your equipment, and it was literally email and chat. So there was not phone. Of course, you have team
Oh, that's
meetings
nice.
and all of that, but you're literally responding to emails and you're responding to chat messages. So because of that, again, if you're going to apply for that type of role, you have to hone in and sharpen up your email and chat communication. You know, you can't talk in an email to a customer. If I'm just talking to Drees and
Right.
Adrian, I can't talk like that. I have to respond.
No.
Thank you for your inquiry. You know,
Right.
I understand that this is what you're trying to do, and you know, there's a different vocabulary and a different message. And they were very strict about, you know, what they gave me a test basically. And I remember complaining to Adrian, you know, look what they want me to do for $23 an hour, you know, $23 an hour.
Right.
But it's a process that would weed out anyone who's not able to effectively communicate and follow their directions. They gave me some simple directions. They said, we need you to, here's our database. Here's the kind of questions we get. We know you don't know the answers, but we want to see how would you respond to these emails based upon the database that we're providing. So what that took for me to do is quickly look at the database. And the question was, I'm unable to log in. That was the question. So I went to the database and they had login instructions. So basically all I did was retype in my own wording those login instructions. And some of the things was me taking a screenshot of the directions and applying that into the email. Yeah, and then just sending that to the customer saying, thank you for your inquiry. I think this might be the direction you're headed in. Pay attention. You know, I gave them key things to pay attention into their directions, and then I sent a response back. But that was their process. But once I got hired, I realized it literally was just answering chat questions. It was answering emails. Of course, they're monitoring you for your tone and your delivery, because you do have to watch your tone because it was still a customer focused and customer centered, mentality that you have to respond with. But it was basically a cake job. I mean, they did actually have 2 weeks of training. And again, it's 100% remote. It started out at $23 an hour. So while that is saying it's a tech job, it's technically not a tech job. So that's why I know we talk about these other fields that you can get into. Remote work now, since the pandemic, has really exploded in the support field. They need people to support all of these applications they're coming out with, all of these mobile apps, all of these mobile devices. They need people to support the customer base. So learning that is a tech job, but it's not really a tech job because you're actually just providing customer service. But you're making $23, $24, $25, $30 an hour, and it's opening the door for you to find out what else does this organization do that I can possibly leapfrog into in 6 months to a year. Where can I translate that somewhere else? So I think Adrian's question was, what have you done previously so that we can maybe give you some ideas on how you can translate that into something now? Like, have you provided customer support? Have you worked the front desk?
Yeah,
Have you worked food service even counts as customer support? How have you ever did any kind of customer support? Then a support specialist in this field or a startup, guys, look at startups. Startups are in all different fields. They're always looking for people. Adrian has a customer support role pulled up. Look at the qualifications. If you can do 3 things out of there, update your resume and work on the gaps in the rest. Don't be afraid to apply for those jobs. When I was in my orientation for that role, there was a guy who never worked in tech. He actually came from restaurant business. He was a server for like 15 years, and this was his first non-server role. Um, and so there are companies out there that are willing to teach you how to do things. You just have to have your resume ready, and you have to be diligent about finding these opportunities and making sure that you're doing the self-study required for you to be able to actually perform on the job if you're given the opportunity.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now with that. Just researching for myself. So it's just I just need to know where to look. You know, so hopefully I came here for a little bit of direction.
Okay. Um. So
Is that
D,
job
D
posted,
says she need
Adrian?
D. That's the job right here. Is
Really?
Is it
drip?
posted?
Is this the same one that you were looking
Yeah,
at?
yeah. Absolutely, the same exact one.
Yeah. D
So
says she want to
that's
do it.
live.
Yeah, I just went there while you were talking.
Oh, I'm gonna send
Drip,
that to
what is
somebody.
that?
That's the role.
Um,
That's the role I was just speaking of.
we got a
No, no,
question
no.
for Drees. He says, when do you anticipate moving abroad?
Actually, what I plan on doing when I get back from Brazil is going to be a straight up all out hustle type deal going on. Work, probably a second job, maybe a third, something on the side. But my whole deal is if online anything don't work, then the next option is take about hopefully whatever I make in this next year and a half and just roll out. Hopefully, because I got people down there, and actually, you know about Casablanca, don't you, AD?
Yeah.
I was about to take a gig there at Casablanca. I was actually about to do that. Now, the person that works there, he's from Houston, and he was about to get me set up. And I was like, if you could do me about 400 a week, I'll sure enough stay around. I was gonna stay back in May, but I came on back. But because the job that I'm working right now, it's grunt work, but the money good. You know what I'm saying? I $55 an hour. You know, 4 hours, 4 hours tops. I can't miss that right now. So when I come back, it's gonna be all about the money grabbing, and I'd say somewhere between August, July, and say maybe September. That's when I'll be looking to make that move. By then, I have a couple other things situated down there. I already got the CPF. The next thing I'm looking at is what school I could go to for the whole visa process. That's why I need to come back here, build my money up. So just in case if I don't get that tech job or anything online, I got something to suffice for me for at least a couple of months. So yeah, anywhere in between July and maybe September of next year.
Okay. So, well, if you like what Tiffany said, you if you want to get a remote job, she pretty much laid down the groundworks in order how to get it.
You got to
Um,
start looking. You got to go on those job boards and start looking. See what's out
So
there. See what's out there, and then like this is out there. It's on their website as live. You can go to Google and Google top 10 startups for 2022 and go to
mhm.
every single one of their websites and look at careers and see what they have
this one
available.
doesn't show.
Right. So what is this website right here?
This is Drip.
All
Drip
right. So
is
I
a
could
e-commerce. They're an e-commerce site, so their customer bases are using their site for selling stuff.
okay.
So their customer support role are helping those users access whatever they're accessing on their site, whatever application they're accessing. So it could be anything from I locked myself out of the platform to I'm trying to add this feature to my store, my e-store. It's not working, and I need some assistance. So I mean, you could have a myriad of questions, and that's what you're there to do. You're help there to provide a technical support. I don't know if any of you have used the chat feature for maybe Verizon, but that's similar to what you would be doing. But this is for an e-commerce site. That's just one example. There are hundreds of these examples. Um, Another good source if you're looking for where to work remote, or where can I find opportunities, or how to break into stuff. The new area to look is TikTok. Go on TikTok, type in remote work, beginner remote work as a hashtag, and see what comes up. You may have to go through a couple of videos. I get stuff and I send it to people all the time. I see something that says, this startup is hiring and looking for, people. And I forward that information on all the time. So it's just about connecting with your network. I would suggest building a LinkedIn profile. If you don't have LinkedIn, then I would suggest doing that. And then adding people like myself and Adrian and others to that, so that we can endorse you, recommend you, and then you'll start getting some of those postings filtered to you. So it gives you another avenue of looking for those kind of roles.
Indeed.
It's just going to be a lot of groundwork for you right now.
Well,
and getting yourself in position for opportunities.
Well,
Gotcha.
yes, those are all great tips and pointers. And that's why I wanted to pull up that role, just to kind of like let you see an actual role and things you need to like look at it. And also the what I use mainly, because I think you found out about drip
On
via TikTok, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It said, so I wanted to stack something on top of what I was already doing. So I was being greedy.
Right.
And so, yeah, I saw a TikTok video said these are the top 5 places where you can kind of do a remote job, and no phone support, because that's my thing. I don't want to be on the phones. I'm already on phones for one. I don't want to be on the phones for the other.
Right.
And yeah, Drip came up. Actually, Drip was one of 5 places they named. And so I went and applied for similar roles with all 5 of them. Drip was the first one to respond, was the only one to respond, actually. And they responded 3 months after I applied. So I applied in September when I saw the TikTok, and I didn't get a call until November. November. And I started in December.
Yeah, and now I think it's a lot easier to do the searching than of course, times before. But I'm a little old school. I don't really look at the TikTok other than more like food stuff be on my TikTok. But what I do is I go to the actual sites where the recruiters are actively working, like your LinkedIn, your Indeed, and like if you go to Indeed, which let me bring that up here. Share screen. Okay, so we got Indeed here, right? And if we go to Indeed, right, I can put in, like I put here, I put to support specialist, and I just put remote, because you can put in the place city, state, zip code, or remote. So we're gonna put remote, and then we're gonna hit find jobs, right? No. All right. So
Make sure you filter by date posted, because that's important. Because
Yeah.
it could be something that's older, that's been sitting there for months, and it's not really valid. It's no longer, they're not recruiting for it. So you really don't want to waste your time with that.
yeah, that is a good tip. And it'll say right underneath the ad, like not the ad, but the thing like today, 3 days. But you definitely don't want to get things that's like 4 or 5 days, 2 weeks, 30 days. So hit date, and things like here says just posted, so that's going to come in right today.
That's a good one. That Live Nation, go back up. That Live Nation one is a great one.
Oh yeah, let's look
Client
at this
support
one.
specialist.
All right,
so you guys know who Live Nation is. Live Nation is the Ticketmaster event ticketing agency for the US or global. Ooh,
all right,
I
so
guess
let's
it's Cincinnati. I might have to look at that.
through this here. This position delivers services, support clients' day-to-day needs. You probably just be on the phones. But you see, it says remote. Now, this is another thing too. If it says remote, after COVID remote, I mean before COVID remote, or after, let's say after COVID, that means they may bring you back in his office. So you want to stay away from that. If it says remote, fully remote,
or remote till COVID.
Remote till COVID. That's what I'm going to say. But yeah. So this is like the Ticketmaster. I think Live Nation is bought by Live Nation bought Ticketmaster, I believe, something like that. I'm not sure, but these are like simple stuff. It doesn't take you a lot of experience. If you just waited on people, this is all client support specialist is. It may be kind of like business to business. Like you may have like a company that you support, which is the client. But look at here. So product support.
Client always means customer. So if you've ever dealt with any kind of customer, whether and I like to tell people, if you've worked in an office and you've worked with people, or you've worked in a setting where you've worked with other people and they ask you to do stuff for them, they're customers. Your coworkers are your customers as well. That's the way you can kind of view some of the things that you already have on your resume and how it might translate, because you're always, unless you're working for yourself, even then you're still, you have a customer base. You have someone you're responsible to making sure you perform well for, or that you're trying to please, right? So that in person is always can be viewed as a customer.
Yeah, yes, definitely. And I always, when I look at these job postings, I mean, a lot of it kind of tells you from this point here all the way down, like kind of like what you'll be doing. But to not waste your time and the company's time, you want to go down here to this little sweet spot here.
Yeah.
And you want to look at these requirements here, these skills that you're wanting to look, but never really be like, so like, you know.
Yeah, don't think you have to have all of those. Yeah.
But it'll say
if you can do one of those, apply for the job. That's what I say. If you can just do one, if you got 1 out of 20 that you can do,
right?
You can learn the rest.
And look at this preferred part right here. Is another thing, like preferred. That means like, hey, if you have, you have. You don't, you don't. But like down here, it has required. Those are usually the funny ones. It may be non-negotiable, as they say. Yeah. But see, look at COVID, and now they got these COVID-19 vaccination things on this now, like they putting in the job requisite, which is so crazy.
So you gotta be vaccinated for COVID to work at home. That what you're telling me?
Yeah. I had to work at home.
All right.
Yes.
So they asked for your vaccination card. You had to send a copy or something, or
I did have to submit. I had to submit a virtual copy of my vaccination card.
Damn.
For a contract, not even my employer. It was for a contract, so it wasn't somebody. You know, I'm not a full-time employee. I'm a contractor, so I get paid third party. But in order to work for that particular end client, I had to show proof of vaccination. Now, you know that law has been, unless you're working in healthcare, that law has been reversed. So you don't have to. It's not required anymore. So your company may or may not, who you choose, may or may not ask for it. This one's indicating they're going to ask for it.
Right.
You're right. So, so as you see here, it's 22,649 jobs remote in here. Let's just say half of them are bogus, and they say they may bring you back in the office, or that you can get a little deeper into this too, where you can't work remotely out of the country. So that's one thing that you have to kind of keep that in mind too. Some of them will not allow you to work
Right.
out of the country. Some will. Some
some will.
some
And don't
will.
let, if they don't let it discourage you, because like you said, your plan is June or July of next year, right?
Right.
So
Yeah. Whatever.
get on
Whatever it
now
is.
and keep looking for the
Right.
ones that will allow you to be remote out of the country, and that's where you go. And do not be afraid to apply for jobs out of the country.
Right.
Do
Well,
not be
my whole
afraid of that.
thing is. Well, my whole thing is to get started, get acclimated, and get started here. So once I'm over there, it's all on me. But by the time I get there, I know everything that I need to do and everything to carry out the work, carry out the workload. So yeah, I'm gonna start everything here for sure. Let me.
So can you tell me what your background is as far as your work history?
Work history. I've just been all industrial, heavy industrial, cranes, forklifts, stuff like that. I'm not a white collar guy. I'm the
Okay.
I'm a hard worker, and bodies keep breaking down. You know, it's not that it's breaking down. It's just that I want to live the rest of my life being able to walk
Right.
and walk and enjoy, where I'm able to go. I won't make all this money and then they can't spend it, So yeah,
Yeah.
so I need to do a little bit of enjoying myself right now. So, you know,
Yeah.
I need to work to do for me.
So some of that skills that you bring in from manufacturing are actually very valuable, especially to companies that have warehouses. It would just be a matter of you figuring out where in that kind of, like Amazon would be, you could work remote for Amazon.
Yeah.
Those
Actually,
are
I just had an interview with Amazon FBA. So I'm looking at doing Amazon FBA, and I also did another little webinar with a person named Jeff Baxter, if y'all know that person, and he does Facebook ad promotions. They were showing me how to do that. So yeah, I've already been in a couple of seminars, the webinars, whatever you call them, but I'm looking right now for tomorrow. So
Right.
either way, I'm
that's
going to
great.
have something.
Yeah, that's a good
Either way, I'm going to have
segue
something.
for my next topic before we close out, because I know you brought that up to me, and I told you about the Udemy, because you said that guy was charging you or he wanted to charge you what, 500?
5G, 5Gs.
Dang.
Yeah, and
It,
I was like, if you can go one way, you can go to remote work, or you can go to digital nomad way. As far as becoming a like a virtual assistant. Go ahead.
well, what's the difference between those two, digital nomad and you saying you either way? What's the differences in either way I choose?
Well, a remote worker actually works for a corporation or a business,
Okay.
and they have certain rules that they have to apply by. A digital nomad, you can
Contractor.
be an engineer and work freelance where you get a 1099. Anywhere where you get a W-2, you're gonna be a remote worker.
Right.
Yeah.
When you have a 1099 that a corporation could give you as a freelance developer or whatever, then you're a digital nomad. You're responsible for all your taxes and all your liabilities, all your insurance and all that stuff. So that's when you digital nomad. And what you have more risk, but you have more freedom. I guess that's
Way
probably what
more
they call
freedom.
freelancing.
That's the other thing, freedom. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, and nomads, I mean, they're nomads, they're digital nomads because they're able to travel to multiple locations. And they're not really they're not really centered in one location all the time. They have the ability. It doesn't matter that no one dictates with their location. They can pretty much they can work from anywhere in the world. And they advertise that so that people have that expectation that I'm not going to limit my opportunities because I live digitally. I'm a digital nomad. So That lets them also know that you have a little bit more leeway on how you handle your time. You're allowed to set your own boundaries, your own expectations, when you work, what time you work. Say if you're in, Thailand, you can work your hours based on the times in Thailand, or you can base your time based on wherever your customer base is. If it's in Europe
Mhm.
or in the US. So you get to pick when you work. Where if you're a remote worker, you're going to be limited and based upon when they need you to be available. You know what I mean?
Right.
Your availability is
Right.
going to be dictated by that organization.
Right.
So you see here, Dries, $29.99 is all you need in order to learn this Facebook ads and Facebook marketing.
And they were trying to tell me $5. Ain't that so?
Yeah,
Ain't that so?
on Udemy too, they have the Amazon FBA courses
FBA?
too.
Oh, trust me, that's what you just sent me the other earlier today, ain't it?
Yeah.
All right, we at. You
Yeah,
all
and
right?
read the review. Read the reviews, Dries, so you can see the other people who've taken the course will tell you if it's worth taking or not.
Yeah.
If you took it and it says I was able to apply, it was easy to learn. I was able to apply what I learned quickly. Those are the kind of courses you want to look for. Those are the kind of reviews you want to look for. Um, you know, because these are independent contractors who are teaching these courses. They're saying, I know this subject matter, and so I'm teaching. It's like if you taught a course, Dries, on
Yep.
building a YouTube channel, not everyone can teach is capable of being a teacher. So just make sure you review those reviews for any courses or any, and this is for anyone, any applications that use Udemy or YouTube University or whatever. If you're looking to add skills to your resume, make sure that you're looking at the reviews so that you're able to add things that are going to be of value time and not waste your time, because time is of the essence. You do have to learn stuff pretty quickly to kind of get yourself out there.
Thank you. Most definitely. Let's see. Well,
Yeah, because go ahead,
go ahead.
Dries.
No, I just thought about it when I was in Brazil back in May. I actually was trying to work online. I was doing dispatching, with
I remember
trucks
you
and
talking
everything.
about that.
Yeah, but stuff kind of went left, But I was on a vacation, and a brother asked me to help him out. But when I got out there, I found out that he was like terribly underprepared, because he had set me up. I had my own 800 numbers and all of that stuff. So I get a call, and it's a guy that drives that's asking me for information, but how it's set up, you're supposed to go to the other brother first. It didn't come to me. All I was doing was getting insurance numbers and stuff like that, and then verifying that insurance with the provider. That's all I was doing,
Mm.
But you know, like I said, the brother gave me a call about 10 in the morning. I told him that he had to call the other guy first and then come to me once you set everything up with him. Because what he was doing, he was setting up the routes. I verified the insurance, sent that information back to him. We put him on the road. Sit back and wait for the money. But the thing was, when you doing stuff like that, when you doing all this back and forth with information, like he was asking for some information, and it was easy for me to go run down to the print service. As I'm going to the print service to get it, I'm thinking to myself, if this was 10 o'clock at night, we screwed. So
Yeah.
we were like, we were terribly underprepared, but at the same time, when you got that little bit of opportunity to get free or work for yourself, I jumped at it.
Okay.
I jumped
Well,
at
I
it,
mean,
but
and Dries, understand that when you go into some of those roles like that, once you start adding on these skills, you're able to identify that you just mentioned the gap. He had a gap in his process that
right,
negatively affected you. That's problem solving. So you fixing that problem goes on your resume as problem solver.
Gotcha.
Able to identify gaps in process, so a process improvement. Those are keywords that you can now, as of today, add to your resume because you know you have those skills, and employers, specifically remote employers, are looking for those skills no matter what field you're trying to go into.
Right, right. Well, let me ask y'all this. If y'all go abroad for, like, say if y'all go for abroad for good and work remote, are y'all like buying like fax machines and printers and stuff and taking them over there? You know, that's gonna be the other process because you know, I know that I know some of the things that I'm gonna need, but you know, it's
I
all
mean,
about should I get it here and bring it over there, or should
I don't,
buy it there because they, you know, because a print
I
over
would
there,
think you
it
could
might
buy
be,
it.
yeah,
Go ahead,
I
Tiff.
would
but
think you could buy it.
the problem with it is that a printer here that might be $100, that same printer in Brazil, I went to the mall and looked, $400. Everything is like heavily overpriced, and if you bring it from overseas new, they tax you for that.
Well, you're gonna have to get, and I know where you're coming from, but the thing of the matter, like especially like these remote jobs, digital nomad, you're working for a U.S. company. You will be in Brazil working for a U.S. company. So like U.S. companies now these days, everything is virtual. Even I was thinking the other day I was gonna go to Kinko's and print out something which was gonna cost me a lot of money to print it out.
Right.
But and I had to check myself and say, man, I'm gonna have to read this. And Tiffany, know I'm talking about this the SAFE certification. That thing's like 150 pages, and I'm so used to getting the highlighter. And I said, you know what? I couldn't even print it out. I attempted to print the joke out, and it was like, nah, this is gonna be like $100 job. And I was like, you know what? That is a $100 job. Like, dude, I got to stop thinking so old school. Everything is virtual.
Right.
Everything is virtual, man.
And
Nobody put your pen, get your pen out just to. You may even. I don't even. When the last time I used a pen at work, other than taking notes or whatever. But even notes are actually done on OneNote. So everything is virtual these days, bro. Like nobody using the fax. Nobody. You know, if you was getting re-out in Brazil, working for a Brazilian company, you probably will be using the fax and printing in Brazil because shit's still,
but
20 years behind.
The thing is, you work from home in another. You still have the ability to use co-working spaces, who a lot of times have those things, right? They have printers. So when you do have to, you have a day that you're going to be doing a lot of heavy printing, then you just book a co-working space for that day. I think people forget about that. You don't have to work from home. You can get a subscription to co-working places. I have an app on my phone called Resort Pass. And what that is allows me to have a day pass for the day. So I used it recently in the summer. I was going to be traveling and I was staying with a family member. Well, I didn't want to work at the family member's house. So I decided I was going to do a resort pass. And that gave me access to all of their facility for the day. And so I was able to use their Wi-Fi, use their printers. They usually have coffee. This place was actually a hotel. So I got a room that I just worked in. It was an actual hotel room, but again, they allowed me just to work there. They had a bed and all of that. But I was able to use the gym, so I was able to get my workout in. They had a pool if I was interested in using the pool. But think outside the box of I'm working remote, so I have to work from home. There's so many co-working spaces. I suggest once you picked your location, you already said you're going to be in Brazil, go on some of those Facebook groups and find out where people are co-working from. What kind of facility they have, what's the prices looking like. Link up with other expats who are working remotely in Brazil and figure out where they're working from. So you don't have to work from your place. You can actually work from other places and figure out later how you're going to navigate needing a printer or any other equipment that you might need. Also, keep in mind, Amazon has a wealth of products that you could bring with you that are small and portable. Look for those type of words when you're looking up equipment, because that gives you the mobility to buy it here for a cheaper price and bring it with you. You guys work in the travel. I mean, you guys do travel, so you know that you bring all of your equipment with you, right? So you just have to find portable versions of what you're needing equipment wise that you can bring with you wherever you go.
Right. But like as of right now, only co-working spaces that I know of are in Medellin. You know, I actually know no co-working spaces in Rio, in Sao Paulo, or anywhere else that I've been in Brazil. But you know, thank you, Mrs. Tiffany. I will find it.
There's a ton of them. There's a place called Coworking Sao Paulo, Max Spaces Coworking, Oficina Coworking. So again, there's a whole website called Coworking Space Sao Paulo.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Hey,
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Adrian, this lady's nice. I like this lady right here. She's nice. She's nice.
Hey man,
Shout out.
this a rhyme to my reason, man. I had to have on my show, and we do this thing together here. So,
Well, Tiffany, I appreciate you for everything.
Oh, no problem.
yes, sir. So, yeah,
I
we had the
appreciate y'all for
hour.
this.
Yeah. So let us know how it's going. Anything you need from me, resume, advice, any other little things you want to bounce off me, man. I'm here for you. And sure Tiffany is as well too. You can follow her.
Absolutely. Yep. Follow me on Instagram.
Instagram?
Tiffany Sports and Hills. Yeah, I'm on Instagram, Tiffany Sports and Hills. Website will be dropping very, very soon, and that will give you a lot more information about my my social medias. But follow me there, and then see me a DM and say, "Help me. What can I do?" And what you can send me and Adrian your resume.
Yes.
We can take a look, maybe make some suggestions.
I'm,
You start looking at what industries you might want to go into and what opportunities you might see, and maybe start taking some of those courses to get you aligned with what you want to do. Drees, you get to build the life that you want to do. So what do you want to do, and start answering those questions and figure out how we can then help you with that.
Yes. And I am including his link to his channel in the chat. Definitely subscribe to his channel. Go ahead.
I left a link in the private chat.
Yeah, I put it in the main
cool.
chat.
All right, cool.
I got you. Yeah, so we need to get him up so that could create some revenue streams for him with the YouTube. You got to keep them revenue streams flowing with moving abroad. Yep. Every little bit helps.
Hey, and Drees, you might want to. This might be a new series for you, documenting how you change from and go to a remote work. It could be a whole new series, and you start documenting. You never know who you might help in the process.
Yeah. And while I'm thinking about it, while you just spoke, I might have to go and check out TikTok. I never was. I never thought about messing with TikTok at all. But yeah, I might have to look into that. And I'm not on Facebook. Actually, I'm in the process of trying to get away from everything that is Facebook. Meaning Instagram. But everybody is on Instagram right now. You know what I'm saying? And slowly but surely, people are moving to Telegram. So I definitely got to keep I got to keep the grams at least. Everything else, I can let that fly. You know what I'm saying? But for the show tonight, I appreciate both of y'all for the information that y'all have given. And hey, today is the start. I appreciate the both of you.
Yes, sir. It's up to you, bro. It's all up to you. We here to help you any way we can, man. Indeed. And anyone else watching this live stream tonight, definitely like and subscribe. Share this with your people. It's a lot of information we drop in, more to come. We're gonna dive a little deeper into these job postings, these websites, TikTok. We're gonna go through it all, and I hope that this bless you, and you can find that remote job to do whatever, to stay in your own city or to go abroad. And with that, I'm gone. Thank you all. All right, bro. All right, Tiff,
next
I'll
time.
holler at you.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Dries. Take it easy.
All right. See you later. Appreciate that, man.
All right, bro. Take care, man.